Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We're here, as always, promising you that shortcut to being well-informed. We take all that information you send our way, find the really vital stuff, and guide you straight to the insight. If you're juggling a busy schedule, maybe prepping for meetings, or, just trying to keep your head above water with information overload, the goal isn't just speed. It's about being effective. And today, we're diving deep into an idea that's really all about that efficiency through, well, intentionality. It's a core cultural quality from the Philippines, the Ilonggo virtue known as Paghalong. Yeah, we've been looking at some fascinating research on this, specifically from the Western Visayas region. And our mission today, let's unpack what Paghalong really means, go beyond just, a simple definition, and figure out why this way of thinking, this considered conduct, might just be the best intellectual shortcut you can apply to your life, like right now.
That term, considered conduct, that's absolutely key, foundational. When we talk about Paghalong, we're really talking about a commitment to being prudent, careful, and maybe most importantly, deeply thoughtful before you act. It's that conscious, measured step, the one that comes before you actually do something.
Okay. Let's unpack this a bit more, because honestly, when I hear prudent and careful, my first thought is, well, it's slow. And in a world that's all about speed, hustle, how is slowing down actually a shortcut? It feels, counterintuitive.
That's a great question. Really gets to the heart of why this virtue is so valuable today. The distinction here is critical. The sources are very clear. Paghalong is not just being cautious in a reactive way, like, swerving to miss a pothole. That's just reacting. Paghalong is more proactive. It's an awareness before anything happens. If it were just caution, you'd be purely defensive, right? Just trying not to lose something. But what's really fascinating, I think, is that Paghalong includes this deep awareness of the value of what you're about to do, the consequences you're about to create. You're not just pausing because, I might mess up. You're pausing because you actually recognize the weight of your action, how it impacts your time, your reputation, your relationships with people.
Okay. So the shortcut isn't about moving faster.
No.
It's about eliminating the need to go back and fix things or repair damage.
Precisely. You eliminate rework. You eliminate repair. That's the efficiency.
So if I'm getting this right, it's not just what I'm doing, it's that I'm aware of the stakes.
Yes.
I'm not just dodging the immediate problem, I'm thinking bigger picture. Protecting my long-term assets, like credibility or relationships.
Spot on. And that perfectly sets up the contrast, right? The direct opposite of Paghalong is impulsivity. Impulsivity is often driven by, immediate feelings, the pressure of a deadline, maybe just old habits kicking in. It's that email you fire off at 4:58 p.m. And then you immediately think, why did I send that?
Don't remind me. I wish I'd chosen Paghalong last Tuesday. Reply to this urgent message without really rereading the whole thread cost me, I swear, 45 minutes the next morning just clearing things up.
That is the perfect real-world example. Paghalong is the conscious choice against that pressure.
Yeah.
It's deciding intentionally to pause, to insert some thought into that tiny gap between the stimulus, that urgent email ping, and your action. It reframes being prudent. It's not boring or default. It's actually a power move. A deliberate choice you make, especially when everything is screaming at you to rush.
Okay, that makes it feel really practical, active even. So let's bring this virtue down to earth then. If we decide, okay, this week I'm choosing Paghalong, what does that actually look like? Day to day, how does this idea, this intentionality, show up when you're just trying to get things done, manage all the complexity?
Well, the beauty of this concept, as laid out in the research, is that it gives us these really specific, concrete actions, things we can all do. They kind of anchor the whole virtue. And they range from, simple diligence right up to more complex strategy. First off, Paghalong looks like checking your work twice.
Seems basic.
It does seem basic, but think about institutionalizing it, making it a habit, especially for high-stakes stuff, a financial report, coding, drafting something important legally. That extra 5 seconds you spend double-checking an input or a number or sentence, it can save hours, potentially, of fixing errors down the line. And maybe more importantly, it protects your credibility with whoever receives that work.
Right. There's that shortcut again, preventing the fire, not just putting it out.
Okay.
What about the people side, the relational aspect?
That brings us to the second manifestation. Speaking with respect. And this isn't just, being polite for the sake of it. It's actually about efficiency and how we communicate.
Oh, so?
Well, think about when you speak thoughtlessly or you rush your communication, maybe interrupting, using vague language, being a bit sharp. What happens? Often, the other person has to spend energy trying to figure out what you mean, or defending themselves, or just dealing with the ambiguity.
Mm-hmm.
Causes friction.
Exactly. Peghalong demands that your choice of words reflects the value you place on the listener and the conversation itself. It helps make sure the message lands clearly, effectively the first time.
Okay, so thoughtful communication is faster communication in the long run because it cuts down on that friction and misunderstanding. Makes sense. And the third example.
The third one is taking the time to plan your route. And this is about strategic foresight, really. It applies to any goal, not just, driving somewhere.
Right. It's about thinking through the path forward to achieve what you want efficiently, safely, minimizing potential bumps in the road. So if you look at those three things together, checking work, speaking respectfully, planning the route, they kind of cover the whole spectrum of modern work, don't they? Task execution, communication and relationships, and strategic planning. Paghalong integrates that thoughtfulness across, well, pretty much everything we do.
This is where that cultural context from the Western Visayas region feels really important. How does this virtue connect to broader Ilonggo cultural values, beyond just making my life easier? Because usually culture elevates values that benefit the whole community, right?
Absolutely. And the research connects Paghalong directly to social harmony. That's a key takeaway. It emphasizes that having this deep sense of prudence, this Paghalong, is linked to respecting three crucial things, and they're all interconnected. First, you respect your time. By being thoughtful, by being prudent, you cut down on rework, missed deadlines, wasted effort. So you're honoring the time you actually have for more work or family or whatever. Now, that might sound a bit like self-interest, but it links directly to the next 2 points.
Which are reputation and other people. How do they fit together?
Right. Respecting your reputation means your community, your colleagues, whoever can trust what you produce. They can trust your word. In many cultures, especially more collective ones, being unreliable because you rushed things isn't just a personal slip-up. It can actually disrupt how the whole group functions. If I'm known for always double-checking my work, showing Paghalong, then others can rely on me. And that just smooths out cooperation for everyone.
I see.
And that leads straight into respecting the people around you. If you take the time to plan your route literally, or maybe a project plan, you're showing respect for other people's schedules, their resources, you're reducing the chance that your mistake or your haste is going to negatively impact their day, their work, even just their dignity by making them clean up your mess.
Wow, okay. That completely reframes prudence for me. It's not just internal caution, it's outward facing. It's like a social commitment. It's basically saying, look, I value your time too much to waste it because I was sloppy or rushed.
Exactly that. When you grasp the cultural context, you see Paghalong isn't about being hesitant or timid. It's about, well, calculated generosity, maybe. It's recognizing that every action ripples outwards. It has social consequences. And the cost of rushing isn't just a point off your own scorecard. It's potential friction, potential damage to the harmony of the group, the team, the community.
So bring it back to you, the listener, the person trying to get smarter, faster, more effective in a really high-pressure world. What does this all mean? The ultimate promise here, what we really distilled from the research, is that choosing this thoughtfulness, choosing that prudent pause, it is the actual tangible shortcut. It's the shortcut to managing complexity, cutting down stress, and protecting both your own reputation and the goodwill of the people you interact with.
Yeah, the commitment is pretty simple when you boil it down. Speed often creates problems. Prudence prevents them. Full stop. This commitment to thinking about the consequences, remembering the value that's at stake before you act, that's probably the most effective time-saving strategy there is.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, let's really try to internalize that choice, the choice Paghalong presents. This week, maybe let's try choosing Paghalong over just haste. In our actions, our words, our plans, let's make that conscious decision to pause and just recognize the value we're trying to protect.
And just to give you that really powerful takeaway, straight from the source material, a kind of cultural send-off that embodies this whole spirit. Madamo, salamat, kag mayad na simana.
Which means thank you very much and have a good week.
Have a thoughtful week. And maybe here's that final provocative thought we want to leave you with. The next time you feel that pressure building, that urgent, almost panic need to just rush, don't just tell yourself, be careful, that's too vague. Instead, try tapping into that core awareness of Paghalong. Actively ask yourself, what value is it my time, my reputation, my relationship with this person? What value is directly at stake if I move too quickly right now? Use that awareness, the awareness of the consequence, to drive your measured, intentional action. That little shift in perspective, that's where the real power of prudence lies.